Hey seniors, it is the final countdown, as if you could not tell. We've got 2 more weeks of this quarter before we kind of end things and wrap things up. And we just kind of wanted to touch base with you about where we're going and what you can turn in and what you can't turn in, and the transition back into the building.
All right, so this week the learning target is I can use revisions and feedback to type the final draft of my capstone essay. So every class session you will have 90 minutes because we are now back in the building. So whether you are in Zoom or you are in person, you will have 90 minutes with us. So please show up. You are going to use the revisions and feedback you did the past 2 weeks. Remember, you had a revision session number 1 and a revision session number 2. You were supposed to do all those things in that slide deck, or have a peer do it, or have another teacher do it. The more feedback you get, the better off you will be. You're going to use this time to type your final draft. You can also conference with us as needed, and you can also and should be working on your website. So this is your playlist, and at the bottom here you see all of these things, their original due date, as well as the final day for credit. You will notice that the 11th is the absolute last day for some of these items. They will not be accepted after the 11th. This is not like a first semester situation where you got to turn in the proposal and the annotated bibliography way late. If you do not turn in a final draft by the end of this quarter, you will not pass the capstone, which means you will not pass this class. So whatever you do, please make sure that you submit a final draft, even if it's crappy. As long as you've got a works cited page, you have not plagiarized, you did not buy it offline, you'll be fine. Do we want to talk about this one or no?
Nah, they can figure that. Well, I mean, it's just the new building routines about coming in. You're going to have breakfast in your classrooms. The lunch, it depends on your 3rd and 7th period, whether you have lunch, what lunch you have. And then the rest of it is just basically, stay 6 feet apart, put your mask on, all that kind of stuff.
If you're in my 7th period or my 3rd period, it's sea lunch. I mean, we could tell you that, but the other ones you have to teacher, right? All right, so we are back in block schedule. So when we talk about the next 2 weeks, particularly for ending this quarter, we are going to basically schedule 20 minutes of work session time, offer you guys breaks. It doesn't mean you have to take a break. When it says there's a 5-minute break, maybe you're really behind. But we all need brain breaks. I know I do. I'm working, then I have to go play a game or something. So that'll be built into the schedule as well. So the way we are doing this, we are calling this Writer's Workshop. We've pretty much been engaging in writing workshop all quarter. We just didn't call it that. What we do want you to know is that this is a process, which is why we have stepped you through the process. This quarter was never about the final draft one and done. In order to get your 3rd quarter grade, you had to go through the process of the thesis statement, the outline, the rough draft, etc. So that we expect you to work the entire time, whether you're in Zoom or you're in person. You want to talk about the other ones?
So essentially, you've got all of the resources that you need, the instructional videos, the worksheets, the organizers, the how to get here. We put a lot of videos on there, how to get from this assignment to this assignment. All of the information is up there. You have to utilize it. At this point, you already know what your due dates are. We've given extensions. We took a whole week and just didn't do anything to let you guys get caught up. There aren't a lot of assignments this quarter. And so I feel like a lot of you guys that are coming back into the building, my senior classes are my largest classes coming back into the building. Just coming back into the building is an automatic pass. You need to make sure that you are completing the work that is assigned to you so that you can pass this quarter, okay? Just coming into the classroom and sitting there is not going to make you pass. So don't think that, hey, I'm in the building, so now I can go back and do all of the stuff that I forgot to do at the beginning or didn't want to do. But because you are in the building with us, make sure that you use that time to conference with us. That's what we're here for, to help you through the process. And that way we can focus on where you're supposed to be right now.
Additionally, we have had our Zoom sessions open for 8 period during your flex period on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12:25 to 1:30, and then an additional hour on Thursdays from 1:30 to 2:30. That if you could not make the Zoom, or if you you know, whatever your situation was, you had that extra opportunity. Very few seniors have come in. The seniors that have come in, they're getting their help. They are excelling. Even the ones who were behind, they're getting it done. If you have not made use of this time, at this, I mean, that there's nothing else we can do. We've offered all of the time that we can. And so those of you that are in this last minute situation at this point, you're going to have to push through and use all of the resources that we have given you. So speaking of the tasks that we're going to do this week and how we're going to break up our time. So the area in white, you notice that that's things that should have already been completed as far as this quarter. The outline in the rough draft, they're no longer being accepted for credit. They should be done. Like there should be no one in our classes that still has not done a rough draft. And if you are in that situation, I have nothing. Like,
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I can tell you. Do it. So that you can at least get revision station number 1 and 2 credit. Those were the last 2 weeks. We gave you 2 weeks to do revision stations. And if you had opened the revision stations, there was an opportunity for you to earn back 1 or 2 of those grades that you missed out on. So even if you didn't get the rough draft submitted in on time, you still need to get that done because it's connected to the revisions, which is at another 100 points, which would allow you to recover 1 of those grades. So we worked that in for you. Where we should be is this area in blue, and I'll let Ms. Whitworth talk about that.
so the final draft is due. It is technically due March 7th. We're going to give you till the 11th to do. We can't give you that full 2 weeks because it is the end of the quarter. Okay, so we're facing deadlines set for us by that are higher on the totem pole than we are. Okay, so you just need to make sure that you get that final draft in by the 11th. And here's the thing: you have to get this turned in if you want to graduate. This is the key to graduate. In order to graduate, you have to turn in all 4 components. You do not have to pass this essay portion of the capstone, but you still need to submit it and you can still pass because you have 3 other capstone assignments that are going to be in 4th quarter. You also have the website checklist. You should have been updating this as we go. So this is just like a final check-in stage. I'm going to be looking at, hey, did you get this done? Did you get this done? And then it's just kind of a quick check. And then your mentor check-in form. Again, this is your second form so that you've already done this before. You need to have talked to your mentor 3 times within the last quarter. So that way there's a piece of evidence, what you talked about, and then a date that you talked about it with them.
To go back to the website checklist number 5, that has been available to you since week 2 of this quarter. And I'm pretty sure both Ms. Whitworth and I have said, work on it as you can, as you complete each stage. And let me tell you, the things that are on that checklist will help you when you have to do the reflection essay in 4th quarter. Because literally you can do some copy and paste. Hopefully you've noticed by now everything is connected. Maybe you are somebody that, okay, we showed you what you have to do, but you're like, I need a checklist. I often have to make checklists. Like sometimes when I'm very overwhelmed, I have to sit down and I have to write everything out and make a checklist. We've done that for you. So since we are now in block scheduling, you have that 90 minutes. This is how to organize your time, as we said before. The assignments that you see right here, these are things that were due in 1st quarter. So these are the assignments that are needed to have the capstone to get the capstone project done, right? And number 2, if you're trying to recover your semester 1 credit. The proposal and the annotated bibliography have to be attempted. The proposal was due October 4th. The annotated bibliography was due November 29th. Y'all know you're late if you haven't gotten this done at this point.
Right.
We both have checked, and we're not checking every day because it's so past done. Like that's not on our radar. We're teaching the current things. So we've checked periodically and we've given feedback. If you need to fix something, it's just on you to get it done and checked off your list.
Right.
Those of you that are getting that semester 1 credit recovery, additionally, you have to get Apex done by April. Is there anything else on that one?
Nope. I would just kind of say, your proposal is very easy. It's just 2 pages of questions. Your annotated bibliography is going to take a little bit more time if you haven't already got it. Notebook 2 feeds right into it because like Ms. Cockcroft said, every assignment that we give you is needed for the next assignment we're going to give you. So if you try to skip one, it's not going to do well. My point is that annotated bibliography is a really tough, long, time consuming assignment. And if you're sitting here in March and you're complaining about how much work you have, I just need you to look at the due date, because we know that that was a big assignment. That's why we gave it to you in November, so that it wouldn't have to be done at the same time as what you guys are supposed to be working on. So just get it done as quick as possible.
Remember that these assignments have to be submitted by the end of third quarter as well. And this is why we said you're going to have to work simultaneously on these things plus third quarter items. We also gave you an alternative schedule that you could have followed, and some students are and some students didn't. And some students are still sitting here not having had the proposal or the annotated bibliography. And like Ms. Whitwer said, at this point, get it done. Like, that's all we can say.
Right.
These are the third quarter assignments that are in progress book right now.
Everything in gray, you've already missed that deadline. Okay, so you need to think about the fact that that reflection that was due in January, you had 2 weeks to submit it and still get that extra credit, or get that credit for it. But if you look at all of the grayed out, everything is needed for the next assignment. You still need to do your capstone outline and essay rough draft. If you missed that assignment, you weren't able to submit your rough draft, you still need to do it, because if you take a look, that capstone revision statement, you still can turn that in. So if I have my rough draft and maybe I've got a friend in Miss Cockcroft's class or Miss Whitwer's class, or my English teacher from last year loves me and she really wants to help me out. So you could get all of your capstone revisions done from station 1 and station 2 and look at the asterisks underneath it. That it, depending on how well those revisions are and how detailed they are, you could actually recover 1 to 2 grades that are above that. So you need about 800, there are about 800 points available this quarter. And so this could count for, like, if this is really good, we could replace one of those that you didn't turn in, and you would still be able to pass this quarter.
As long as you get the revision, everything else done, right?
Correct.
Keep in mind, we've said this all year, that the capstone essay final draft, it is due the 11th, end of game, 11th. You've got to get something in. That final grade will go on fourth quarter. So it's not necessarily going to boost your third quarter grade, but it's for your fourth quarter grade. And there are only 4 grades in fourth quarter. And those are the 4 components of capstone.
Yes.
So make sure you get it in. Again, as long as you do not plagiarize, you have a works cited page, you have done your best to put in-text citations everywhere. Whatever's not your words, you put them in quotation marks. You have your own ideas. Even if you fail the essay but you have attempted, you still have every chance of passing the entire capstone project fourth quarter. I mean, you make sure you did your research, but like, you can still pass. But again, don't just not turn something in. Don't just avoid. And I think that's pretty much it. This is for those students, this video is really for those students who, no, I just stopped sharing.
Oh, it's still recording.
Is it still recording? Okay, good. Hi, hey. See, we're tired too, by the way. So if you are not in class, at least you know kind of a direction. We're obviously going to say this in class on Monday as well, and Tuesday when we see you, but this is it. We're almost done.